Welcome everyone to Couch Potato. Today we have with us two very, very amazing guests, Yoznaa and Aayush. Hi guys. What's up?
Hey guys.
Hi, what's up?
And obviously our co-host Abhishek. Hi Abhishek.
Hi.
Oh, you're this side. Yeah, sorry. Uh, so Aayush and Yoznaa are two comics from Nepal, and yeah, we were just discussing that me and Abhishek probably know only three comics from Nepal: Aayush, Yoznaa, and Seema ma'am. So we have already done a podcast with Seema ma'am, which will be out soon. And today we have with us Aayush and Yoznaa. So Aayush and Yoznaa, we want to know what is your experience, being stand-up comedians in Nepal? Because we know about the Indian scene, but nothing about the Nepal scene yet.
So Nepal scene is pretty young. Like it just started 3 years ago. Before that, there were a few comedians like Seema Di, and then there was another comedian named Shaili Basnet, and they were trying to do a few shows here and there, but it was very one-off, like once a year kind of thing.
Okay.
And there were no open mics at all. So 3 years ago, it was like kind of me and a few other friends, 3 or 4 friends. We decided to try stand-up comedy in open mics, and there was no stand-up open mics for stand-up. So we had to go to a poetry open mic kind of thing, and that's where we started for a few months, and then. After a few months, we realized that okay, this is not our audience. These people are, they're doing slam poetry for crying out loud. So if we want to do this, then we need an open mic just for stand up, and that's when me and a few friends decided to start stand up comedy open mic every week, and I guess that's where the new wave, I guess if you can call it, of stand up comedy started. So it's very young. It's only 2.5, 3 years old, and a lot of things have happened in these 3 years, and it has kind of boomed, at least on YouTube, but we're still struggling to find a lot of live audience. But
Actually,
it's exciting, but a lot of work to be
the
done.
scene started from YouTube videos. Actually, this whole
Oh.
stand-up. I think a lot of people watched Indian stand-up comic videos on YouTube, and some people in Nepal did the same. They shot a video and then they put it online, and then people like were interested in those, and then it took a while for everyone to realize that this is not a YouTube thing. We need live audience, or like we need open mic. So actually, it took. Still, we have to. Still, there are like a lot of comedians out there. Like they're not open micers. They just like do it on studios and like put it online maybe. And it's still, there's always a conversation happening. Oh no! Like we have to do it first open mic and then perform it with the audience, with live audience, and then we need. It's because the only thing we saw was YouTube video first. Even like my first performance was also like a YouTube video. It was a live audience thing, but as soon as I got that, my very first performance, I shot it and I put it on YouTube. Almost every one of us have done that, and
Not me.
You're telling it's the reverse Nepal. So first the videos and then you're coming.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's weird.
and a lot, like most of the audience don't even know what happens behind the scene, and we still have to, that they're still asking like video kab aayega, so we have to like no, actually this is actually no, it has something else.
It has a long process before that.
Yeah. So there are still a lot of clubs that are just YouTube based. They have done no shows. They have a studio, and they like one person goes up in front of the mic, tells jokes that he wrote last night, and the crew laughs, and that's stand up.
Oh,
There
I've got it so wrong. Share this podcast with them later on.
But the good thing
it's been so difficult trying to tell them like, no, this is not how it works. We have to do shows. But yeah, like there's but like now there's a good amount of stand-up comedians who get it and kind of putting in the work. but like I guess it's 50-50. They're like 50% of comedians are just YouTube based right now. So kind of weird.
Oh, so it's like sitcoms instead of stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but at least don't have like live audience, no, but
Yeah.
It's just the
Well,
crew.
after that-
Just the crew.
So basically, the audience there decide what's funny, and you don't know which jokes are
Yeah.
actually funny. That's how it is.
Right. And it's because the first impression that Nepali audience or the would-be comedians got about stand-up comedy was from YouTube. They
Okay.
saw Biswa, they saw Jakir, they saw Kanan, and then there's this is stand-up comedy, and they got it completely wrong. But we're trying to change that, and it's happening, kind of.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Yeah,
our
of course,
our first exposure was also through specials and YouTube videos, because I mean, I've been following stand-up for like 6 years now, probably 2015. I started watching when I was in 12th that time. And I did not like to study for my engineering, I mean, for my entrance exams. So I was like, let's just watch comedy and, ignore those things. So I started watching back then, and then, in fact, back then, Bisso was doing pretentious movie reviews, and all that too. So it was like, I started watching stand-up and I was like, okay, damn, this is what stand-up is. But none of us got the perception as to YouTube video is the thing for stand-up. We knew that, okay, this is recorded and what happens is there must be a long process behind it. But we didn't know what the process was until we started doing it ourselves, that's how it is. So the first time I got to know about it was also like 3 years back. I did one open mic in CLC, and that open mic was actually an audition. It wasn't an open mic. That's how CLC went about it. So, and after that I got to know, okay, you got to do open mics first, you got to get enlisted, and then you get spots, and then all the other things happen, then you get paid shows. That's how it is. So, and after that I stopped for a while because I didn't have any money. So I started in 2020 regularly with Vishaka. So now we have a community in Visakhapatnam itself who do comedy. And in fact, Visakhapatnam scene is a lot like Nepal's right now, where not a lot of people know what stand-up comedy is, and there is a very orthodox, mindset here when it comes to the people here, and it's changing slowly. People come to cafes and they don't come with the intention of laughing to our jokes, but we do organize open mics every week so that we can get them on. That's how it is here too.
Right, getting open mic audience must be pretty difficult at the moment.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It is. I mean,
Same
getting comedians to do shows here is very easy. There are amazing venues that we have. I mean, they're not comedy clubs, but they are amazing venues for people to perform. And comedians love to come here and perform in my city. But the problem is when it comes to regular comedy, it's not a great
We
scene
we
here
do
yet.
open mics every week, but it's just a bunch of comedians in the
Yeah,
audience
exactly.
hitting the same
It's
joke
the
to each
same.
other.
Exactly.
At this point, everyone can recite your whole set by heart. So yeah, I get it.
Oh man.
But that's so cool that stand-up has penetrated to such different this thing to Nepal, and that's really nice actually. So, that is why we were like, ये podcast करना है.
I don't know. Next might be Zimbabwe comedians, man. I don't know.
They must find things pretty funny.
I don't know. So, Yoznaa, could you tell us about your stand-up journey? Like, how did you start and what you're doing right now?
okay.
And also about how did you open for Daniel Fernandez?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that. So actually, my story is pretty. I don't know if someone would like to hear that. So my sister was watching these stand-up videos for a while, 4 years back, and so my family, everyone thinks I'm very funny in my family because I'm the youngest one, and like all my sisters are like, oh, she's very funny. She can write poems. She can do this. She can do that. And then like have a lot of overconfidence in me. And my sister one afternoon she came and she showed me a video, and you can also do this. No, please do this. Do this.
Okay.
Why can't you do this? And then I saw the video. I watched the whole video. there were few Facebook videos thread of few stand-up comedians. Kevin Hart was there, and then the Biswa and everyone. And then I said, yeah, I can do this. And then she told her friend who used to organize this poetry reciting shows for YouTube, and they used to bring bunch of friends, and then they used to read poems, and they just shoot it and then put it on video at YouTube. The same as stand-up comedy we did. And then she told her friend that, okay, my sister is amazing, give her a spot, she'll make you all guys laugh. So after the sad poets told their poems for 1.5 hours, I went on the stage. I have like freshly written this again, like wrote it at like kal
last
raat ko
night.
likh ke maine suba jaake bol diya. And nobody laughed.
Of course.
No, it was so bad. It was really, really bad. I bombed it, of course. and then a week later, that guy sent me the video, and then like my ego really hurt. And then I started researching and started searching more about stand-up comedy and like more about what's happening in Nepal. Then I found out about these guys running open mic. They've just started. Then I found out like, okay, something is happening in Kathmandu, not very big, but like there's something going on in Kathmandu. I was still in Jhapa. Jhapa is not Kathmandu. For you.
Oh man.
Okay, that's all you need to know. So the Jhapa is not Kathmandu, and then so something is happening in Kathmandu. I have to plan something to go to Kathmandu maybe, and yeah, and that's how I started looking for more stand-up materials. Started following comedians, what's happening in Nepal. I started stalking these guys, everything. And I made it to Kathmandu. I made it to these guys. They approached me, so yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
So like the first thing that she did after coming to Kathmandu is approach one of these YouTube studios comedy clubs that is just about
Me actually. No, I put that video from that poem recital wala show on my YouTube, and they saw that, and they sent me message on my Facebook. Hey, we have this is happening, so would you like to come and perform for us? And then I saw that it was a studio based video, so I told them, no, I will only perform for live audience.
Oh my god.
They actually organized their first show because I told them I will not perform in a studio. So yeah.
Is it true, Aayush?
Yeah, and then they put that video just after one performance, and I saw that video, and then like I was running the open mic with another comedian, her name's Yoznaa, and I was like, and in that whole video I found 2 jokes. So like everybody that had put videos online, she at least had jokes. Okay. So I told my friend Yoznaa that we have to get her out of this. She can't fall into that trap, because if I approached her, I'll look creepy. So I asked her to send her message. So it was a very elaborate plan to get her out of that hole.
Yes, I'm a rescue.
Oh man.
But yeah, there were very few comedians back then, and we were just trying to get people out of this video culture as soon as possible. We're putting them on stage every week, and that was quite fun. A lot of comedians who are working.
When I went for first open mic, these guys were just forcing all their friends to just try open mic, and now nobody talks to them now. They have no friends. They would just put them on spotlight, like, oh, just try. Nobody hangs up with them.
If I didn't do that, there were just 2 comedians in front of 3 audience.
They might be scared.
And now we don't have
If
just
they
3 audience.
if they talk to Aayush, he might pull them up on stage and tell them to perform
he
jokes.
did that.
Oh man. But it's
Yeah,
nice
that's
to
it.
but it's nice to be a part of a scene when it's just starting. There is a lot of growth opportunities that you have. I mean, Yoznaa has 5,500 followers, and I think that's all the all of the Nepali stand-up audience probably.
But I've seen like I've seen that when you're running a Roman clubhouse, at least 400, 500 people are there who are listening in the audience. I was like, that's so cool. That was
Yeah.
really cool.
And
Yeah.
when the first time Abhishek told me about Yoznaa, I was like, okay, let me check her Instagram and see like what her profile says and all. So I saw her Instagram and I was like, dude, 5,500 followers. She must be the biggest comedian in Nepal. And then I came across Seema ma'am and I was like, oh no, she is a bigger comedian. That's how it was. Oh.
But then in the last year there are comedians who kind of broke out into mainstream,
Yeah.
not through stand-up comedy alone, but with
Okay.
YouTube, and there's a stand-up comedy reality show going on. So it's
Oh.
kind of like
Wow.
accelerating quite fast, because stand-up comedy is not like exactly new thing. There
Yeah.
there was a more theatrical version of comedy that was happening, which was pretty huge in Nepal, and it was more theatrical and sketch comedy, but there were hints of stand-up every
Yeah.
now and then. Like they would do 2 hour shows where there was sketch comedy and like maybe one or two people who would do stand-up and then like sketch comedy again. So it's not an entirely new idea, but it wasn't being done in this scale
Yeah.
as it's happening right now.
And then
Yeah.
what's the name of the club? You guys have any name for the club?
Our club, it's I don't know if we can call it a club. It's just a group at the moment, but we
Okay.
call ourselves Comedy Tuk Tuk.
Oh,
Um,
that's
So that's our club. There's one called Nepgasm. There's one called Comedy Circle. So there are a bunch of going around, but those are very YouTube based.
okay.
Oh. So, I mean, is there any English audience, or most of them are like Nepali, folk Nepali audience that like the people who do it in
Most
the
of them are,
native
yes.
language?
Most of them are like Nepali audience. There are few English audience in Kathmandu, I think.
Yes, a very small area in Kathmandu that where we can get English speaking. Not like everybody speaks English, but like the people who appreciate comedy in English
Yeah.
language, there's a very few numbers. And actually, when we started, I only did comedy in English, and I was only targeting the expats that are living in Kathmandu. So like I had no trust that I'll get any kind of Nepali audience for Nepali comedy. But then again, I slowly started writing Nepali material as well, and it kind of works
Yes.
better than English. So there's both right now. You can find a decent crowd in both languages. Actually, last year we did an international comedy festival in Kathmandu,
Wow.
where we got comedians from around 16 countries.
Wow. So
yeah, and-
like Comedy Tuk Tuk organized it?
So like one advantage we had was I had a friend who's a Dutch guy. Is like tall, white guy to whom like I introduced him to comedy. So I got him to do his first open mic, and that's not the secret power. The secret weapon we had was his girlfriend, a white woman who can get anything done.
Right.
So
Alright.
yeah, like we had a white comedian with us, and her manager and his manager, who was a white woman. So like the reason we could do our first show was because a white woman said like these guys are good. Otherwise there was no way. But yeah, like and this comedian, his name's Fedor. He went back to his place. He started doing comedy in Europe, so he got a lot of connections. So he used to come to Nepal every year for 6 months, and when he was here, he organized it was his idea to do an international open mic international comedy festival, because he had all this connection, and they were ready to come to Nepal without any kind of, we didn't have to pay for their stay or travel or anything. So we just did a 1 week thing. I think there were 5 or 6 comedians from India that time as well.
Yeah.
So there's a decent amount of English speaking crowd as well. Actually, Hindi comedy would do pretty well in Nepal as well.
Oh.
People speak, Hindi comedy, like Hindi language is pretty common. We everyone understands Hindi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Amazing. I mean, I can only imagine what it is to actually start a comedy scene in a country, dude, because we are so late into, this that there are probably lakhs of comedians out there. And making a name in between them, it takes a long time for people. Like,
It does.
luckily, touchwood, we have a great network right now in India, and that has only been possible because we have been attending shows and we have been talking to comedians very regularly, and we have been in touch with some of the big names, and we have been trying to just improve our network as much as possible through this podcast and our YouTube channel, so that so it's not very difficult for us to actually be known amongst the circuit. It's just once this channel takes off, probably the audience will be more accepting of us, even if we are not funny. So this is our escape. When someone is in India, it's like when someone is famous and they do comedy, they're automatically funny. That's how it is.
Yeah, likability helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. But Yoznaa,
That's
tell
true.
us the story that how did you open for Daniel Fernandez? That's how I discovered you, right, from the show.
Okay. No, actually, so Daniel met Simadi in India, and maybe they shared a stage.
Yes,
And
yes. Comedy
then,
role.
yeah,
In
and then
Habitat.
and she came back. We did a show together, and she put it on her story that we're doing show together. So he followed me on Instagram
Okay.
because Nepali comic, and then I put a video, the small one joke video on my Instagram, and then he shared that he loved the joke, and then we talked about it.
Oh, yeah,
And
I remember. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, the pocket joke, he really loved it, and we talked about it for a while, and we talked about stand-up comedy scene and everything, and I also told him I would love to do an open mic, maybe a Zoom open mic in India, and I'd love to sit there because I was planning, I have plans to come to India and taste the Mumbai and Delhi stand-up scene for real. I just want to get the
It's
feel of that. And then I
You'd
told
love
him
it. You'd
about
love
that.
it here.
Yeah, and then he told me, okay, I'll let you know if something happens, or I'll let you know if there's any open mic. Then we didn't talk for 2-3 months, and then one day on Clubhouse we're discussing comedy with Nepali comics, and then I saw him online. So he just entered the room and then he left, and I saw that, and then I thought maybe he would like to join, and then I sent him invitation and they came, and then we had a great session, and
Yeah,
he
I remember it was there.
yeah, and then we talked about comedy in India. He shared a lot of stories, and then I don't know, this magic happened in his mind, and he's like, I told him it was great session, thanks for coming, and then he said okay, and then I said if anything happens about open mic, let me know. Then he said why don't you just open for my Sunday show? And then I
Wow.
said
Crazy.
yeah. Yeah, and I'm gonna call you on Clubhouse more often.
My God.
And
And
then
that's how then you came to Bullshit Comedy Club as well, right?
yeah, and then I got a lot of attention actually after the show. I got so many people approaching me and hey, love your set, or you should do open my mic with us, and then you guys and everything, and I was just so happy. And you guys are so nice. Why?
Oh man.
Uh,
Yeah. I mean,
And-
that
Because
day
it's our
the
new club.
audience.
Because it's a new club.
No, the point is, after your spot, you went away, right? So we had a green room session, and also there were some audience members who talked to us after the show, and a lot of them were like, dude, Yoznaa, who was that, comedian? I was like, she's a Nepali comedian, and they were like, dude, I'm a fan of her set and she's so amazing. I'm like, yeah, follow her on Instagram and you may find some shows that she's doing, and she is an amazing comic. So I mean, thanks to Abhishek actually suggested it because he follows Daniel Fernandez very closely, so that's how he came across you and the whole Nepal comedy scene. So that's how we got to know about you, and it was just amazing to have you perform. And Aayush is next week, so
Yes, yes.
let's see. I mean,
Yeah, tough act to follow.
I am very excited for Aayush, man.
Yeah, tough act to follow. Yoznaa has set the bar pretty high.
Ayush is on Sunday, right, Abhishek?
Yes, next Sunday.
Okay.
I
Thank
just
God.
agree with that. Yes. Yes, I did.
Thank God it's on Sunday because I am performing on Saturday and I don't want to be embarrassed in front of like people I've talked to on my podcast a week
Don't
back.
worry, I'm not as good.
So that was about stand-up. I mean, Abhishek, do you have any other questions about stand-up?
I just wanted to know that like how is the like when you do an open mic, where do you guys do it? Is it like pubs or like what is the process, and what is the process that you follow if you're doing an open mic?
What we do is we find a pub or whose owner we can be friends with, who we can like butter them up properly and like, hey, you're a great guy, man. You know that, right? And once we get in their circle, then we just like to stick to them to a place. So right now we've been doing stand up. We've been doing open mic at there's a place called Beers and Cheers, which is a pub, and for once a week on a Monday we do open mics. So it's mostly comedians in the audience. Maybe on a good day we get 2 groups of people, so it's like around 10 new audience on a good day. Otherwise it's like 4 or 5 people, but they're mostly comedians at the back. And then we try doing that week in, week out.
Oh, that's
And we had been doing that for a while, and very recently other comedians have started to do that on their own, which is a really good thing. So there are, I think, 3 regular open mics happening in a week. That's the good thing. The bad thing is like it's the same comedians everywhere you go.
okay.
Yeah.
So I think me and Mayan should move to Nepal and then start.
Yeah, I think we should. We should either
Yeah,
come
please.
to Kathmandu and just settle there because that's
Yeah,
what our
there-
standard
there-
is.
Actually, there was a guy named Kusal Rathore who is from India, and he came to Nepal, did a few sets, and he put out, I think, 1 video on YouTube. He performed in Nepali, and it got viral, actually.
Oh,
And it's because the outsider's perspective is so interesting everywhere.
Yeah.
So he got viral. He got famous for a while, but then he got back to India. I don't think he's doing stand-up anymore that I know of. Other comedians have have you heard of Nasif Akhtar?
I think I have once. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've probably seen some of his material. Probably I don't remember.
I
but
think he has a club. He runs a club in Bangalore. Is it Bangalore?
Yeah, Bangalore.
Yeah,
Mad
he runs a
Bee
club, Mad Bee Comedy in Bangalore. See, he came to Nepal and performed a few shows. So yeah, there a few comics have come and tried stages from here. So it's definitely like you can perform in Nepali, Hindi or English, and people will probably get the jokes.
That's
we
so
can
cool.
actually. I mean, we are not as funny, obviously, but we have some comedians who who'd love to come down there and perform. So let's see if we can probably arrange a
Yeah.
show, down in Kathmandu where there are some comedians from India, some from Nepal performing, and let's see if we can host an event.
Yeah,
It would be
let's
great.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
it would
hope
be
this
great.
Corona will be over. And, like, we
Yeah.
want to try
The problem is, like the second wave is going down now. The peak has, passed away, and now it's on a decline. But people have already started talking about the third wave here, which will probably hit in August or September. So we have like a 2-month window in between to probably do some stuff elsewhere. Because the problem is comedians are actually trying to get their recordings and all done in August, because that's the only window they have, July, August.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's very
at least the
difficult for us in
people
India
we
right
know,
now
right?
to it's very difficult for us in India right now to do live comedy or do it with an audience elsewhere. It's very difficult for us right now. That's how it is. So let's see.
It got like we had a window of, I guess, 3 months in
January, December, January,
in the last
February.
in the last in the time that last lockdown ended and the second lockdown began. And we kind of did like maybe 4 or 5 shows in total. We could not get the audience, so it got pretty difficult.
Yeah, the panic actually hinders the audience a lot, right? Like even after the lockdown is lifted, a lot of people don't want to come out of their houses for these things and enjoy stuff. So obviously that's there.
Yeah, so let's see if some of you guys can come to Kathmandu and we can do a few shows. The only thing that I can ask is, when you come, please bring some vaccines. We need.
Let me talk to the Prime Minister here. Let's see. I mean, my network is not as strong, but we can probably get his attention by talking against the government. Let's see.
Yeah, definitely. We'll do what Kamra does, and he's right on your doorsteps.
There's Varun Grover and there's Kamra whom we can talk to about these things, because the government is always watching them, what they're doing. But yeah, I mean, let's hope that we can do something like this after things open up and they probably get back to normal, because it would be lovely, because it'll help the Nepal scene to grow. It'll help comedians
Also
here to host shows
yeah.
elsewhere, so it's both ways. Benefit is both ways. That's how it is.
Actually, we've been thinking of actually doing at least once a few months in an Indian circuit. Right before the lockdown, actually, we were just planning that next year we'll do this, and everything went down the drain.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
think you can explore
Mumbai is a
right?
great scene. Mumbai is a great scene. I don't recommend Delhi because there are too many hecklers for new people there. I mean, they won't know that you are established Nepali comedians, and they'll just be like, "Arey karna, jo karna." That's how some of the Delhi audience is, and I'm not even kidding, And the Delhi audience can only be handled by Delhi comedians. This is a fact, in the industry, that the hecklers in Delhi can only be handled by the comedians in Delhi, because
they speak the same language.
Yeah, exactly. So they know how to shut their mouth and be like, okay, either you shut up and listen, or you won't have shirt or pant on your body next time you come around. That's how it is. So it's amazing in Delhi, but yeah, I mean, if it's a show, they'll definitely there will be a good audience, but don't do open mics in Delhi. That's my as a new comic in India, don't do open mics in Delhi. But Bangalore and Mumbai, I just love the Bangalore scene, because the audience there is very difficult, and they look for writing. They don't look for accents and the way you talk. It doesn't matter there. That's how great it is. Because Delhi and Mumbai, it's a lot about the local audience also, there is a kind of an accent that goes into the Mumbai audience, and then there's a kind of accent that works in Delhi, But in Bangalore, accents don't work. So you have to have great material and great jokes, because those are the people who watch stand-up specials of people in America, doing it in USA regularly. And people in USA, they don't have an accent, right? Their accent and the people that they talk to, people that they're performing in front of, it's everywhere the same, in USA. So it's their writing that matters a lot. So that's how it's in Bangalore. So I love Bangalore scene because of that. There are some amazing writers there.
Definitely visiting Bangalore scene at least once.
How's the Goa scene, by the way? I want to find a reason to go to Goa.
Oh, you don't need a scene to actually go to Goa, but I think the Goa scene is growing too. The comedians I know, there are some Bangalore comics who actually have done their tour, a part of their tour in Goa, and yeah, it is growing. There is no, I don't think there is a comedy club yet in Goa, but there are a lot of cafes, pubs, and clubs that you can.
I know one
perform
guy
at,
who runs a club, but it's
Okay.
not strictly for comedy.
Yeah.
He does comedy, but he said that just doing a comedy club did not work. So we had to bring in musicians and poets as well. So it's kind
Music
of a
is
mixed open mic.
very.
Yeah.
I mean, music. When it comes to music, Goans are like crazy about music there. So, but yeah, stand-up comedy, I just said, it's still growing in places like Goa and some of the South Indian parts. It is still growing here.
I love the way that Yoznaa wants to visit Goa just for the stand-up. Goa.
I'll just tell like, I'm going for stand up and then after that pack all the bikinis and like
Yeah, I mean, Goa is a great place, man. But unfortunately, even I haven't been there. I have just heard stories.
Yeah, if you want to really explore in pandemic,
Yeah.
online is a very good thing. I think Yoznaa had her first experience of open mic, right? So we had a good audience of like 30 members. It's good.
Yeah,
Just the
online.
feel of it.
Online scene is great in India right now. Like, I think the only benefit about Zoom open mics in India is there have been audience who have been coming just for comedy, not for anybody's name, you know. So
Right.
that is a plus point with Zoom open mics, that people want to learn and see what comedy is, what stand-up comedy is, not who is performing, you know. So
Right,
that is
right.
helping the scene here. But
Yeah, we still don't
yeah.
have that. That's what we're struggling for. Like last, I think 3 weeks ago, we did a huge online show. We had 600 people.
Wow.
in Zoom. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that like it was huge, but it was mostly because one of the comedians who broke into mainstream through reality show did that, organized that show, and we also had a veteran comic, like he would be out like our version of Sunil Pal, if that helps you.
Sunil
That's a
Pal,
good reference.
yeah.
Like, yeah, we got him in the lineup as well, so that made it pretty huge. So
Oh.
we-
and it was a
we're-
fundraiser.
yeah,
Oh.
but
not good.
we had the same problem. People were there to see the two famous comedians rather than
Yeah.
watch stand-up comedy. So I just went there, like I just ran through my material in 5 minutes and just fucked off. Like, I just don't want to
Yeah.
deal with.
There were 8 comics in the lineup and then like 6 of them we just like performed for 5 minutes and like fucked off.
Man, we can totally relate to that. I mean, the Visakhapatnam scene is so much like the Kathmandu scene right now. We don't have, like, we haven't been organizing any Zoom mics in Visakhapatnam because of the fact that nobody will come and see us, dude. Who will come and see us? So, I mean, right
Yeah,
now I do have a
and
network,
there's
so I
all-
can call some comedians on for some audience, but they won't be coming to see our material, so that there's no point, right? So we go places
And how many
perform.
times you'll trick your friend to buy a ticket, right? Like
Exactly.
maybe 3 times.
Yeah,
Fourth time he'll just block you.
Exactly.
That is correct. Like your club
Have you
can
guys-
have their own crowd calling.
Have you guys tried doing a show with maybe a musician or something just to get a different set of crowds? Maybe a semi-famous.
We did. Indie music doesn't really set the the right vibe. I mean, Yoznaa was there, right? But I mean, the artist was great, but the vibe isn't right when it comes to stand-up and indie music. So
Because the energy goes down for the audience, and then
Yeah.
when you have to pick up with comedy, it becomes really difficult.
yeah, so that,
Also,
yeah,
I think it
yeah.
would have been like I know it was like an opening act and you made it opening act, but I think it would have worked if a little better if
It was at the end, right?
act was at the end.
Yeah.
Yes,
and,
yes, yes.
You know?
Yeah, so we have been planning. We have been planning that, you know, to make it a regular ending act, so that when it's closing time and people have some soothing music to, you know, listen to, it's good. It's a good vibe. And then when the green room session starts, it's probably just the comedians, and it will be great, you know, going that way. And let's see. We have been planning all that. So we have also been planning some poetry open mics in our clubs, just so that we can have diversity of audience. And yeah, I mean, we have planned a lot of things, and like we have a comedian who knows 2 venues in Delhi where we can perform live, for, represent our club live and do it. But because of COVID, we haven't been able to go ahead with any of our plans. So it'll all happen on Zoom. So let's see how it goes. Yesterday was great. We sold like 80 tickets and like 65 of them were present. So it was a huge audience.
You were awesome.
Yeah. How do you guys find the Zoom shows? Like, do you think that this can be something else entirely, or is this just a very shallow replacement of what like a real life show?
You can test your material, no? You can test your material.
To me, this is just a shallow replacement. Like, I hate Zoom shows and I've been avoiding it since 1.5 months. But now there is no choice, so I have to do it, to improve my material. So that's why I'll be starting again next week. I'm starting, and other than that, I hate Zoom shows because the sole reason is half of your audience will not have their audios and videos on. Okay, and they're so arrogant. My God, yesterday I was like, okay, I was asking to unmute, I was asking them to start their videos, and I was just getting notifications they will start their video later. They'll start their video later. I'm like, what? Why? And they're like, we are having our dinner. I'm like, you could have had it like 15 minutes back. You knew that the show was starting at 10 p.m. Why would you plan stuff on a Saturday night so that it coincides exactly with the show time? That is so not.
Or maybe they plan, like, what do you think I am, a YouTube video? No.
I mean, exactly. People are like, the first thing that I say in every show is stand-up comedians are here to listen to your laughs. Okay. Yes, their jokes matter to them, but that is only because your laughs make it, worthwhile.
Right.
So please switch on your audio and video. And even after that, these arrogant assholes will be like, no, we don't want to. Fuck off.
Oh my God!
We are lying down.
Nepali Zoom audience.
Yeah.
Oh my God! You call that arrogant?
Nepali audience is so bad, dude. It's so difficult. Like you think a heckler is bad? Interacting with an audience who does not speak at all. Like, hey, dude, what's your name? Just.
You don't know what's going on behind the, video. I mean, I don't know what is going on behind the scenes, right, with him. So I'm like, why am I even telling the jokes to a person who is not even present here? Just, he's here for the attendance. Okay, I bought the ticket, present, sir. So some kind of a lecture going on where you don't have to switch on your video. Probably that's what it is.
Like the hecklers, there are two types of hecklers. Like some people will just start answering. Like you're going into a material, like you're saying like, okay, what is the deal with the microphone? And they'll start answering. They'll die. What's up with the microphone? They'll just start telling you what's up with the microphone.
Yeah. My God.
So that is interesting.
So I mean, that's why I hate Zoom, because and the other half, it's like if they're laughing, okay, if it's an audience of 30 people and 10 of them have their audios and videos on and they're laughing together, it's all overlapping. You are only listening to like 2 to 3 people laugh. I'm like, okay, this joke might not be good, so let me just discard it next time on. And that is a good joke. What are you going to do? How do you test your material properly in a Zoom open mic that way? So that's how it is with me.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
It didn't even help me like practice
Exactly.
the delivery.
Exactly.
Because like what I was doing was I was putting the script in split screen and I'm just reading it off. Nobody knows better, right? Like I'm not even memorizing my material anymore. So it's
that is one of the disadvantages.
And comics have actually, like, a lot of comics hate Zoom open mics in India too. And we asked them why, and they were like, there have been people who switch on their cameras and they write the material down so that they can perform it as their own material.
Yeah,
This happened with a
shit.
guy called Shrestha, and he's a veteran Bangalore comic. He has been doing it since 8 years now, and we have a podcast with him. So we asked him during that, what is it about? So he told me that there was a show where 5 of us were doing it, and he literally noted down all the 4 performance jokes. And then Kelt was the one to call it out as to, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you writing my jokes? Why are you writing any of our jokes? That's not how it goes. Before you even perform, we'll ban you. That's how it is. So it's very much probable that someone who doesn't have their audio and video on is probably noting down your jokes if they find it good, and they'll perform it elsewhere because just because they are not regulars, right? So they'll perform it in places where you are not present and your audience isn't present, and they'll grow that way. So it's not any of the original material that they're growing, you know.
You're making me very paranoid right now.
This happens. I'm like.
But if you're going to good rooms, it's fine, right? It depends on the room on which you're going. It's also like that.
Yeah, I mean, if most of them have their audios and videos on, and none of them is noting down anything or not typing anything, then it's fine. But if you hear any keyboards running, call that out right away, because he might be noting it down on a word pad. You never know. That's how it is.
Damn.
Then you can do the crowd. Then you can do the crowd work on him.
Yeah. Then you just go like, I wish it was so easy.
No idea about that.
It happens a lot, and that's why I hate Zoom, because you never know what is happening. And at least in live mics, okay, if he has to note down, he has to use his mobile. He has to use his pen or pencil. I mean, you're able to see it, right? And you can always call it out. It makes it even more funny when he is doing something on the mobile phone, And like, you guys know Tanmay Bhatt?
Yeah, of course.
So he put a video last year. He performed at Habitat and he put a video last year. And somebody was doing something like chatting with someone on the phone. And he immediately called it out. He's like, क्या कर रहा है तू? He's like, क्या कर रहा है? Girlfriend से बात कर रहा है तू? दोस्त से बात कर रहा है. And then he sent an Instagram video through his phone that he is sitting at my show and तुझे अभी मैसेज करना है क्या उसको? And that woman doesn't know that Tanmay Bhatt has sent her that video. My God, it was crazy. So it makes it even more funny, these things.
That's very new for us, because we've never encountered anything like that. People noting it down.
Yeah, so it happens a
People
lot.
just don't like our jokes.
No, I loved Yoznaa's performance. I'm just waiting for Aayush to perform now.
Yes.
I'm very worried about what I'm going to, because like I have a bunch of material, but I've been performing in Nepali for so long. Like I used to have English material, but
That's fine.
I've been performing in Nepali for so long that my English material, I have to go back and just refresh it. And now I see the material that I used to do. I feel like it's very hacky. So I have to. I'm a bit nervous right now.
You can just, I think, if you have like something relatable to the general audience in Nepali, you can just translate it to Hindi and do it if it's possible, because
that's what I'm trying to do.
That would work probably, because I don't think when it comes to Nepali audience and Indian audience in terms of their daily lives, it's not too different, I think.
Yeah, it's like
nice.
So we have just had another cameo.
I'm pretty excited about the Sunday's performance. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Anytime.
Yoznaa recommended you, so we'll have to. See,
Okay, but 1 minute. 1 minute. I'm
Sure. Take your time.
Take your time. It's fine. Don't worry.
Such a great podcast. The host just goes away to take care of their puppy.
We'll have this on YouTube.
Yeah, all of this will be on YouTube. Like, we don't edit it because we love to put raw podcasts on.
This is why Joe Rogan's podcast will never reach the height that this podcast can reach, because there's no puppies involved.
Exactly. Dogs are important for cute audience traction, But yeah, I mean, Aayush, what kind of movies and music do you guys have? I mean, I've heard very, very few of your tracks, because there is a guy on Instagram. I don't remember his name, but he basically dances on Indian and Nepali songs, and he puts it on there on Instagram as reels. So I've heard some of the folk Nepali music, but other than that, like, what do you have when it comes to like we have Bollywood, right?
Right.
pop songs and things like that. So what do you have in place of that?
Oh yeah, yes.
The mainstream is our folk songs. It's there's a certain a genre of music called dohori, if you
Yeah.
guys have heard, but it's more like a like man versus women. They go on with like it's like one verse after another, so it's kind of
Ah.
a man versus woman thing. Yeah, it's kind of a battle.
Yeah.
It's rap battle, but way less cool, right?
It's slow. Like
Right.
they make
Yeah.
it like as
Slow and
as
repetitive.
possible.
that is the mainstream that a lot of people in rural areas listen to. There's a lot of folk music that's going on,
Yeah.
and there's it's very small but pretty strong indie music scene going on as well. So there are pretty good bands here. Like up until 4 or 5 years ago, the rock scene was pretty good too, but it's kind of in a halt right now. The
Years back,
hip hop
rap
scene,
was very hip hop was like
scene
really
is pretty good here. It's
Oh.
gaining a lot of traction. Actually, like from what I hear from hip hop artists, they even claim that the Indian hip hop scene was kind of inspired by Nepali hip hop
Oh.
scene, because like there's a lot of Indian hip hop stars have paid their tributes to Nepali artists.
Oh.
I've heard of that. So hip hop scene is quite strong.
Yeah.
So yeah, and right now it's a lot of indie rock that's going on, besides
Okay.
the mainstream folk music.
Right. Right.
So you should look into a band called Phosphines, the Phosphines.
Okay.
They're not huge in terms of popularity, but the music is really good, and they've got some accolades as well. So kind of, like, that will give you an idea of what kind of music that's developing.
Got it. I've noted it down. Sure. I'll check them out. And Yoznaa, you tell us about the movies that are there. I mean, I would love to watch some Nepali movies sometime.
okay.
And what it is like, the content or
Yeah, I mean, what do they focus on mainly? Because here in India, it's, what can I say? It's mostly bull crap. It's just
What?
senseless action and senseless songs, and I don't know. It's bad.
okay, it's
You think
talking
Bollywood has a lot of senseless action and senseless songs?
Yeah.
Nepali movies, most of Nepali, like 90% Nepali movies have no storyline.
And Nepali movie scene is, like, again, it's very, very inspired by Bollywood. So if you think Bollywood is bullcrap, then in Nepali movies are like somebody tried to imitate a painting of the bullcrap, then ate it and then shat that out, and that's
And like, I don't know why they're getting inspired from the Bollywood that was like 15 years ago. Like, so not even like real time Bollywood. No, not even like what's happening right
So
now.
basically,
So-
like, have you heard of Kal Ho Na Ho? There's a movie called Kal Ho Na Ho,
Yeah,
Shah Rukh
yeah,
Khan's movie.
yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
So probably you guys are watching something like Kal Ho Na Ho in 2021. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it?
and then they copy the very creepy version of it, and like,
Yeah,
it's like
they're
the
copying
actors can't
Salman
act,
Khan.
the writers can't write, the director can't direct.
They're copying Salman Khan. That says it. That's it.
Yeah, they're copying
Yes, so
Salman
many
Khan.
actors seems like copying Salman Khan and like this stuff. That's like they can't even make rom-com. They're like very. I don't know. It's very weird to watch those movies, and we only watch when we need to roast them.
It's like I think Yoznaa and Aayush should start their own pretentious movie reviews based on Nepali movies.
Yeah,
It would be crazy. It would go crazy.
Yeah. It criticized Nepali movies for copying something from India and making a worse version by copying
It's-
something
it's
that's
like-
in India and making a worse version.
So you should just go like pretentious movie reviews Nepali version. That's all you need to do. Go on YouTube, do it, and it would actually probably gain a lot of audience because people love that kind of content even in India.
Right.
You know, just
Yeah.
roasting some stuff.
The Princess movie review is very famous in Nepal as well. It was like
Oh.
people love it here.
Yeah.
And
Like-
but yeah, Nepali movie scene is not like it's obviously there are so many new artists and so many new directors, filmmakers are coming up with like their own style of like filmmaking and stuff. And there has been like great movies, but they're not very.
They did get into the
mainstream or they're
mainstream. They get into
mainstream.
the the film festival circuit.
film festivals.
So good
Oh.
movies, indie movies that's being made for the festival circuit. But on the mainstream, it's more or less an imitation of Bollywood. So
Yeah.
I mean, that happens
Sometimes we find
here
a
too.
movie,
Yeah.
like they take 2-3 Bollywood movie and then mix it
Yeah.
and they just go nowhere. So that happens a lot.
2-3 Bollywood movies and they mix it. How the hell do they write that stuff? They are talented, but not the right way.
No, they're like, shoot karte we'll figure out.
We did that with a short film here, and we did not
Is
release it
Aayush-
because we know that.
Aayush is stuck or like he's
Yeah, yeah,
smelling
yeah.
the mic very passionately.
Yeah, Ayush is
He's
back.
He's back.
Wait.
hey,
But I love
Okay,
I
this is
watched a few I used to watch Nepali movies growing up, and like it was a very big it's very good movies made back in the times, like they're like 25 years ago, 30 years
Oh.
ago they were. And there were so many good Indian filmmakers also who used to come to Nepal and make movies. Actually,
Yeah.
Indian filmmakers started making movies in Nepal as well, and like it was a great scene back then. I think it was a huge deal back then. But it's and so many Nepali classic movies are like so good. So yeah, and we kind of lost that in between. So,
Hmm.
the good thing is there's a lot of possibility for us to make fun of them. So
Yeah.
content.
Exactly. Acha. And do you have?
So-
I mean, in India, it's like Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that. They have given a lot of contracts to a lot of Indian filmmakers and
Yeah.
people like that to, have a lot of indigenous content because they know that there's a huge market in India for that. So anything like that happening in Nepal right now?
Your own
No.
OTT platform as such.
a bunch of people have tried creating their OTT platforms, but none has
Worked out.
taken off. No, nothing as of yet.
Okay.
So it's mostly like the biggest platform right now is YouTube. So
Yeah.
like, people aren't even people are watching TV shows on YouTube right now.
My God. Oh,
Yeah, kind of fucked up that way, but
long way
yeah,
to go.
it's long way to.
Yeah.
But I think it's good when you're part of the scene from the start, right? Because you see the whole journey. And
I mean, 10 years down the line, you guys will be a huge deal.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
who doesn't know Tanmay Bhatt in India? That's how it is here. So, and Veerdas. Veerdas was the one who brought it to India.
Right,
And
right.
Ayush will be the one who brought it to Nepal. So, imagine Ayush. You doing Netflix specials like Veerdas.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll get on that level, but people do find me as annoying as Veerdas. So
I think Yoznaa can only comment about that.
Oh my God.
You also say ladies and gentlemen a lot of time.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot.
yeah,
What
I
happened?
do.
I don't think
I
I've
do say
noticed that. Have you guys noticed Veerda says ladies and gentlemen a lot?
Yeah.
Why-
Yeah,
and
he
I do
does that a
too.
lot.
yeah.
I have started copying Bo Burnham now. I'm like I have become a
Oh.
huge fan, and
I'm,
I'm like,
I've been, I'm also experimenting with musical comedy at the moment.
yeah,
Wait, that's nice.
okay. So you do music?
So-
I mean, you produce music too?
I have tried to produce music. I'm not good at it, but right now I'm just using a guitar and
When
making
I-
up songs.
When I asked you, do you produce music? Yoznaa goes like,
I know.
I was about to mention that.
Who am I
mean-
kidding? Who am I kidding? but right now it's just the guitar. But I do think that I'll want to do something like Bo Burnham, where it's a produced music, and like I like the live performance part of it.
I mean, I want to go the Bo Burnham way because I was bad at segues, and then I was like, why? Okay.
You don't need it.
What the hell? That's the way I went about it, you know. And I was like, people might call me Bo Burnham copy, but what about the people who have been using segues? Like, there are n number of people out there, so probably all of them are copies of each other. So I'll have an upper hand that way. That's how it was. So I was like, cool, I'll do something weird with my set. So I've dropped anecdotal now. I used to go the anecdotal way, and obviously 90% of it is bullshit, but since I'm new to this, but now I'm like, okay, let's just add some one-liners and just reduce the anecdotes to 2 to 3 lines of, you know, a short story sort of a thing, instead of just reciting the whole story. Keep it short and then a punchline, then keep it short and then a punchline. Let's see how that goes. So let's see. I don't know.
Why did it shorter? It's just like one-liners. That's it.
No, the point is, some of the one-liners require a small context so that punchline works, you know, because that one-liner that you've written, it's because of some other idea that you had in mind. So for that, like out of the 10 that I've written, suppose 2 or 3 might have like 1 or 2 lines of context that I give people, and then I turn that around and I make it a punchline. So that's the way I'm probably going about it right now, and I'll be testing
Mark
it next
Norman
week. Let's
writes
see.
great one-liners. No, you should like
Yeah.
Yes.
watch it more. No,
Who?
is it Mark Norman or Nor Mag?
Mark Normand.
Mark Norman.
Mark Normand.
Yeah.
Mark Norman.
Great analogies. His analogies are great. His one-liners are great.
Uh,
Deliveries are on point.
Who's your Yoznaa? Who's your favorite comedian?
International and India as well.
At the moment, I'm a big fan of John Mulaney. I love him. I'm like, he's on another level. I love the way he delivers and everything. Is just like so. He's like, I think he's on like his own genre. I love that guy. From India, I was a big. I used to be a big fan of Biswa Kalyan Rath.
Yeah.
And I think now it's like Abhishek Upamanyu.
Oh my God! Every comedian out there is like, Abhishek Upamanyu is amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because his joke writing has never like gotten down. Like I loved Biswa, but from the first special to second, you could actually see that it's not that level. It like everybody hoped that it would excel, but it did the opposite.
Yeah.
But like with Upamanyu, there's even his writing and his delivery has not, you know, gotten down at any point. So it's
right.
He uses anything as a punchline, man. That's the best part.
So Aayush, your names for
see, I'm such a huge fan of stand-up comedy that I've watched so many stand-up comedy and I've taken inspiration from so many people that it's very difficult. But right now, it's Bo Burnham is actually one of my top comedians at the moment, and like I know it's old school, but I love watching Jerry Seinfeld still. And
of course. I think he'll always be relevant. I think he'll always be relevant.
Going back to Jerry.
Yeah.
And have like another one of my favorites is James Acaster.
Oh
He is brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the 3 top people at the moment for me.
Nice.
I'm from India as well.
Yeah, and India it's Upamanyu. And
have you guys heard Bassi?
Bassi, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
He
funny,
also.
but I wouldn't.
He's also. I mean, he also has that Upamanyu vibe where he. I mean, goes about with it through stories. You know. I mean, both of them have that anecdotal style, and that's why like they're very. I mean, very famous.
I like Upamanyu's writing better than Bassi's, but but preferences, that's opinions.
Of course,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to make enemies.
Yeah.
As if Bussy is watching this video, like, how could he?
Don't worry. Don't
I'll
need a
never
lot.
work with them.
Yeah, but you should, I mean, discover more of the Bangalore network if you like writing, because these guys have like impeccable writing, and I just love the Bangalore scene. Kenny Sebastian and Rahul Subramaniam, in fact, even Kanan Gill, all these names are the people who have been a part of the Bangalore scene. And after that, like now they have moved to Mumbai to, I mean, Mumbai has a, I don't know, has a potential where you can use it to get famous, because the Bangalore comedy scene is sort of cursed. Nobody who is in the Bangalore comedy scene and who continues to be in the comedy scene actually gets famous, you know. That's how it is.
Oh,
Yeah. So
I forgot.
There
I
used to
forgot
be a
this
huge-
guy's name.
What?
Sorry, I forgot that guy's name. Who was that guy who does like sort of alternating comedy? He did the memory loss thing. He did the same. He repeated the same bit 3
Oh,
times. What
yeah.
was his name? I love that
I
guy.
don't remember. Yeah, that was a good set actually.
Uh,
okay.
I heard of him through Karune's podcast
Oh,
with Akash Mehta.
okay.
He was brilliant. I forgot his name. Sedhai Rohubhai. Is it Rohubhai? Yeah.
Full name?
What is his name?
Everybody.
Rohan Desai. Yeah, Rohan Desai.
Oh, okay.
Rohan Desai. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's brilliant. That guy's a genius. Why isn't he famous?
Well, there are a lot of people who are who have a like great deal of potential, and they're not famous yet. For some reason, their videos just stop at 100k, 200k, and they don't reach millions. And I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of reasons for that. Probably it's the algorithm, it's the people, and
Right.
yeah, it's very complex. You know, when you gotta get famous on that level where you can perform anywhere in the country. There are a lot of factors that weigh in, so nobody knows why these people aren't famous yet. And me and Abhishek actually keep discussing these names as to why aren't they famous yet. They have been doing comedy for 7 years, and they are probably the best writers in the country.
Give us some names that we might not have heard of that we should check
You were
out.
there in the lineup with Yoznaa last week. Anand Ratnam, Ken Shrestha.
Yeah, both of them. Anand Ratnam, Kelt, just write KJELD, Shrestha.
Oh, he was
KJ
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
KJELD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember him.
Okay.
Anand Ratnam was the first act.
Kelt Shrestha,
Right.
and Shrestha is very similar to your last name,
Uh-huh.
Aayush. But it's SRESH. SHTHA.
Okay.
Yeah, TH. That's how it is, I think, if I'm not
Okay.
wrong. So these two guys are like amazing, and Anand Ratnam, like the guy whom we had a podcast, that is one of the funniest podcasts we have ever had, and it was like sitting through a special. That's how funny that guy is. So he's great, and yeah, I mean, all of the Bangalore scene is pretty good. You know, there are a lot of comedians in Bangalore who do some great stuff, but it's just that the audience there is very difficult. So I think it's very, very difficult for them to tap into their brains and make them laugh each and every time they go on stage. So that is how
Actually,
it
I
is.
wanted to ask about like that Bangalore Comedy Festival. It was a big deal back in the days, and like, did they stop doing that? I didn't.
Yeah, now I think they don't do they don't do Bangalore Comedy Festival now anymore. They're like it's more like now I think in India they don't have comedy specific festivals. They have more like, there's something called Zomaland that happens, which is Zomato's own festival sort of a thing.
Oh.
So music producers come there, comedians go there, a lot of other people go there and they perform. And it's the same with other festivals. There is like under 25 sort of a thing that happens. So there's something called under 25. So that's a youth festival sort of a thing where comedians go and perform. So it's I think variations of comedy festivals that happen, and it's not just specific to one art now, I think. But
Yeah,
we
we
need
try
to
to-
have it, because the
Yeah.
network
Yeah.
is, I mean, in India it's very strong. The scene is very strong right now, and it's growing rapidly. So we need to have a festival just for stand-up comedy where comedians perform. Let's see.
Yeah. It's nice to have a comedy festival actually. We would like to have a comedy festival, a regular comedy festival in Nepal as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried, but
Okay.
Once and then
I mean, it
But
just
it was
starts
pretty
like
fun, though.
that. It starts like that. At first, you're irregular with the stuff, but as soon as you start getting responses, and I mean, as soon as the audience starts expanding, you will probably get the motivation to do it regularly.
Yes.
right.
That's how it
Yeah,
is.
but when we did it, it was pretty fun as well. I mean, to have like comedians from all over the world with 20, 30 years of experience
That's amazing.
perform. Yeah, so it was very enlightening. It was very humbling. These people have been doing it on the road for 30
Yeah.
years, and it's just mind blowing that
And
how
there are
good
so
they
many
are.
people. There are so many people in US that have been doing it for 25, 30 years, and they don't believe in specials, and they don't believe in having
Yeah.
a huge performance. They just want to do it on a daily basis with 25 to 30 people sitting in a room. And I
Right,
think
yeah.
right.
And
that
they
is a
want to do it all
great
around the world,
mentality.
like traveling.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
They travel around.
They travel, yeah. So that's amazing. I mean, a lot of people don't know about these people, and they're just missing out on so much, calling themselves
Yeah.
stand-up fans. That's how it is.
The first time the first time I released my video, and it's the first time I released my video, that was kind of the first time a stand-up video got viral on YouTube.
Oh.
And it was a lot of fun, but the audience that the state of the audience in Nepal was like, everybody said, "Oh, Russell Peters." That's the only reference that they have about stand-up comedy.
Ah.
And I have no, on my act, on my attitude, nothing is even close to Russell Peters. And they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, like Russell Peters, you're like Russell Peters."
Oh,
Okay, yes,
man.
if that's what.
They probably know. I mean, they don't know names, right? I mean,
Yeah.
except for one or two that they've seen outside, they don't know anyone. So that's the only reference they have to compare you with anyone. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
understand.
apart from stand-up, I had a question. What's the famous? It's a different question, but what's the famous food in Nepal? If you're traveling somewhere and which is
Oh
the
yeah,
favorite-
yesterday Yoznaa was eating something. I saw in her story. She literally cleaned the plate, man. My God.
Okay. Oh yeah, yesterday I was eating like clay pot chicken and rice. So it was like,
Yeah.
I don't know if they put it after they make it into clay pot or like they cook it in a clay pot, but it was like clay pot rice thing. It was very good. Actually, it
It's
was
not
a
a thing.
biryani. They forgot to put elaichi in it, and this is called like, this is the clay pot rice.
No. That's good. That's good. You shouldn't put elaichi in biryani. That's amazing that they forgot. And if they practice that regularly, then man, that's amazing.
Okay. And I had ramen noodle.
Oh, that was ramen noodle. I was like, why is there egg and chicken like side? I mean, in the boiled format.
The ramen noodle.
Yeah, there was no ramen noodle that I saw. I was like, why is she eating boiled egg with chicken? That's not how it goes.
Okay. Momo is pretty famous in Nepal. You get momo, and then stick.
Yeah, that's a
foods are very-
stereotype in India, we know.
The stereotype is
authentic
pretty
taste.
that's a stereotype we can get behind. Like
The point
Yeah.
is,
Momo and Sherpa. That's
in like
The shop
I
is
used
very
to I used to study near Delhi. So there was a guy who had a stall, and he was a Nepali. So anytime we wanted to have momos, we used to go to that guy itself because we knew that this guy would be perfect for it. And
yeah, Momo is pretty huge. And we won't even shy away from
yeah.
from the stereotype. Like if you find someone Nepali and you just want to tease him and say, "Hey, Momo," he'll probably be happy.
We named a guy Momo because he looked like that, That's how offensive we are in colleges here. But yeah.
And what is Sherpa?
By the way, I'm not racist. My YouTube audience, I'm not racist. This is just what happens in engineering colleges, guys. Don't cancel me. Don't cancel me.
Newari foods are pretty big in Kathmandu actually because it's like.
Yeah.
I'm a big
What
fan
was
of
that?
Newari food. Newari food.
Newari food. Okay.
Newari.
Newar is a community in Kathmandu. Like it's the majority like indigenous community of the Kathmandu Valley, and they have their own culture, own cuisine, and like I am a Newar.
Oh.
Right. So our cuisine is pretty different from the rest of the country. So you would want to try that as well. So there's a lot of meat involved, which is amazing.
Oh well, probably Abhishek, but
It's good.
And
I won't be able to. I'm a vegetarian, so yeah.
They have a lot of veg stuff as well, like to go on the side with me.
Like ask for if you ever come. If you get somewhere, if you get a Nepali restaurant or something, or you ever decide to come here, ask for choila.
Choila.
Oh.
See? See?
I love that. I can eat chola every day.
What is choila?
Yeah.
Choila is very like
Wait,
it's
I can. Wait.
buffalo meat.
Oh
Like,
shit!
you
Shouldn't search it. My mom will kill me.
Soybean chola and stuff. Mushroom chola is pretty famous. They're also good.
the original is buffalo meat, but they've like changed
Because
it
of
to
annoying
have it chicken
vegetarian.
or mushroom or the bad ones. But it has a pretty distinct taste. It's very spicy.
Abhishek would like to try it for sure.
It was so correct because of annoying vegetarian. I was like, I'm agreeing.
It's just a lifestyle, guys. Stop bashing her for no reason at all. We are humble people who just don't want to consume meat. That's all. I mean, I don't like vegetarians who want to like impose it on people. Like, oh, this is sin. What are you doing? Don't.
It's
I
the
don't do
other
that.
way around. Like a non-vegetarian want to impose it on the vegetarians. Like a khana please.
Paneer samajh ke kha ja. That is a statement that will never grow old.
Never go
Yeah.
out.
I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Do I look like a 5-year-old that you'll be like, pizza, khichdi? That's not what happens with us. That's not how it goes.
So yeah, like if you ever get to a Nepali restaurant, first momo and then choila. Those are the
Yeah.
two biggest ones.
They'll also give you momo choila. They put, they'll just like mix momo in choila masala, and it's like amazing.
Yoznaa is gonna order probably after the podcast. Oh man, nice. It was amazing to talk to you guys.
Yes.
Thank you so
Likewise.
much for talking to us and giving us so much insight on the Nepali scene and the culture there. And we'd love to travel down there someday for sure. Next year probably. Let's plan, Abhishek. Let's plan a trip down there with some
Yes.
comedians and have fun.
Yes, please come. It's pretty cheap. So
I'd probably have a lot of vlogs to put on YouTube. So it's a lot of content for me.
gotta be relevant.
So yeah, guys, look out. Subscribe to my channel
Yeah.
because
Subscribe
Nepal
to this channel.
is on my list. So thank you, Yoznaa. Thank you, Aayush, for talking to us. Stay back. Okay, I'll just I'll do the outro and then we'll talk.
Thanks for having us, guys. Thank you so much for having us. It was lovely.
Really
I
Yeah.
tell about the channel name you have or Yoznaa.
I'll send them the links. It'll be easier for them to actually go about and check it out. So it's called Couch Potato. It's called Couch Potato. Actually, now I come second when you search it. So I think I'll be visible if you search it right now.
I think I followed the page on Instagram, Cows Potato.
No. That I don't have a page. I have I promote it from my page right
It's a
now.
potato couch.
I don't know.
There's something with potato and cows there out on Instagram.
No, I think Fedor started with the same name, couch potato comedy.
Yes.
Like
Oh,
Fedor is the
comedy
the
is
Dutch
different. Yeah.
comedian.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
Fedor is the Dutch comedian that was our friend, and
Oh.
he's in Netherlands, and he got with a few comedians and started couch potato comedy.
Yeah,
No, this is
that's
this is
one I follow.
podcast. This is like couch potato
Oh.
podcast. Yeah. So.
Yeah. They're not active. Fedor is like doing it like
He's doing
Good for me.
podcasts
I'll
now.
get my verification. And then I'll be the original couch potato. That's how it is. So yeah.
all right, let's end this. Fine.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yoznaa. Thank you, Aayush, for being here on my podcast and talking to us for 1.5 hours. Like, this is crazy. I love it when we have more than 1 hour of content. And thank you, Abhishek, for co-hosting this with me. And to the people who are new to my channel, please subscribe. It's free, and you will get to watch a lot of more such content on my channel. And there are a lot of funny highlights that I'll be putting out on streams. And I'd love to stream with Yoznaa and Aayush someday. Let's play Scribble or like
Yeah, sure.
GeoGuessr and things like that. Okay,
Yeah, sure.
on my stream. So thank you so much, guys. Couch Potato signing out. Like, share, and subscribe.